What's up, y'all? I'm Drip by Draco, and welcome to the Overall Drip Experience podcast.
It's Bastard Drip, the flyest in the city, aka the young intellectual, and today we got Drip by Draco on the podcast.
You dig?
You dig? Drip by Draco, Draco Knight.
Yes, sir.
Got a couple questions for you.
What's going on?
Take us back, bro. Who was Draco Knight before he was Drip by Draco?
It's a good question.
Talk to me.
So over the past few years, man, before Drip by Draco actually became a thing, my brother and I have moved out to LA to pursue our music.
Mm-hmm.
We have been doing that for about 10 years, maybe we're going on almost 12 years now, 12 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's honestly like the first passion above all. When moving to LA and once we were out there, I was working at the Apple store at the time, and I was a role called creative.
Wait, where were you from again? What did you say?
I'm from Manchester.
Manchester, New Hampshire.
Manchester, New Hampshire. And basically we're just doing music. The name that everybody knew us as was Knights. Knights was basically that kind of came to be because all of our schools in that area were all night themes. My high school was Knights. My middle school was Knights.
Okay.
All that theme was kind of like all warrior driven.
Copy.
And so we kind of pulled the name from that, and then we kind of like decided like, yo, what if we do like the thing where it's like, yo, I'd be Draco Knight, Tone does his name is Tone Knight, so it's kind of like the ASAP Rocky thing, but we're like, let's put our own spin to it, and so we came up with that. And basically when we're out in LA at this time, I still wasn't even doing art yet. When I was working at Apple, I was basically a creative, and my goal was to just teach people how to use Apple products.
Okay.
And doing so, they launched a brand new workshop called How to Sketch, Draw, and Paint with iPad. And there was basically just something crazy that happened in that moment that just like really kind of sparked me to want to get started. But basically, bro, at this point, I didn't draw for over 10 years, bro. I kid you not.
Oh,
and
wow.
Actually, in the meantime, while I'm telling you this, I'm going to post something up for you. But yeah, yo, I hadn't drawn in almost 10 years, and drawing was never on my radar, period, bro. It was just music. We're out there in the network, meet people, you know, do the whole grind, you know. So as we got started, man, I figured that if I was going to be teaching a workshop, I should probably brush up on different techniques to draw. So that like when people are coming to the workshop, they can feel like they left with something valuable.
Of course.
So I brushed up on my skills, and the person who taught me something basically taught me a very simple technique called the P's method. And basically what that is you draw a circle for the head, circle for the body, and then a circle for the torso. And from there you use shapes to build out your figure. Okay. And so I learned this one technique that literally in that one moment changed my life. I stopped drawing as a kid because I couldn't do figure drawing. So I got discouraged, I quit, and I was like, this is not for me. Music is what I wanted to do. So after 10 years of not drawing, came up with this. I'm gonna show y'all too.
Dope.
This is 10 years.
Dope.
Now, that, I kid you not, that one moment was just like, it was a very powerful moment for me, because like I seen this and it was like a reflection of skill that was still there.
It was a reflection of your potential, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking like, yo, so let's say that I wanted to tap into this. I was like, how can I make it so that it's kind of like my music? It's something that I could potentially live off, but at the same time, it's something that's relevant to people our age, because music, as you know, is a lot of teenagers, a lot of like, everybody plays music, but when it comes to hip hop, R&B, music like that, it's mainly people in our age group.
Exactly.
And so I'm like, how do I target that audience? A lot of people don't really buy art like that. And so I was on Instagram, and I had seen people doing different like workings with like denim and different workings with art and canvases and things like that. And I was starting to kind of get an idea for like maybe doing art with fashion. And I seen these pair of Tims that somebody did that just went OD on this design, and I was just really inspired. So I was like, yo, what if I were to try something like that? So before I went all in on a pair of Tims, I got a pair of Vans, and I came up with my first design for Spider-Man.
Wait, did you sketch it out, or was it like you sketched it out on a notepad, or was it on an iPad?
I'm gonna show you right now. So as a matter of fact, I'm glad you asked that. So when I was at Apple, they were actually we had this thing called Live. And basically, I would just like demo draw or demo making music, whatever.
Like on the spot, or
on the spot.
On the spot. Yeah. So like the customers will come to you and you will demo draw on the spot.
Literally. So like I'm sitting at a table, right? This Apple store was 2 floors, so like I'm working at a store called The Grove. Now, if you don't know what The Grove is, it's literally a worldwide shopping destination that people come to go shop.
In what city?
It's in Los Angeles. And
Okay.
so it's a very nice outdoor mall. And the Apple store there, it's 2 floors. So like when you walk in, you go upstairs and like we had a table over here and we had like this really big screen. So I would be sitting there with my iPad and I'll just be drawing out designs. And one of the designs that I came up with, this was my first shoe design that I did on my iPad. I'm gonna show you first.
So it's like a Spider-Man theme type of thing.
Right? I was like, before I even get the shoes, let me just see if it's something that looks realistic. So I got that, and I really liked where it was going with it. And I was like, what if I kind of experiment with more designs? So I'm going to show you a few more real quick. So I got... This is all exclusive stuff.
Actually, let me see that. I didn't even see that one. Damn. And that was all demo draw. Like, that was all on the iPad.
All demo draw.
Literally
all demo. This
copy.
Is live. This is freehand right in front of people.
Amazing.
And so at that point, I'm trying to draw people in. I'm trying to engage in conversation. I'm not even thinking that Drip by Draco is one Drip by Draco.
Exactly.
And then 2, I'm not even thinking that this could be...
You didn't even think it was a
it was
thing.
Just a hobby at the time.
Okay.
I was just like, I just want to kind of get my feet wet in something else and see where it goes. So time passed. I bought my first pair of shoes and I was like, hey, let me try executing on making a pair of shoe. And then this was the final product for that Spider-Man shoe.
That's really dope, bro. That's dope.
Thank you, man.
I mess with that.
So when it comes about how I came to be Drip by Draco Knight, Draco Knight was really just the artist name.
So Draco Knight's the artist, and the artist in terms of music.
Correct.
Drip by Draco is the artist in terms of fashion, clothing, and just designs in general.
Spot on.
Copy. Okay. I kind of got that when I seen you. I was like, so I followed you on Instagram. I saw you in the mall. I was like, yo, this guy's displays are pretty dope. Show him one of your displays.
Yeah, let's do it.
So like when I seen this sneaker was just me. I'm a sneakerhead. You guys know me as Bastion Drip. You know, I hosted my first convention. You know, I do my thing. I sell sneakers, so on and so forth. But when I seen this sneaker, I was like, yo, this sneaker is really dope. Like, I've never seen somebody dissect a sneaker like that and then put it together in that fashion. When I seen him in the mall, he works in the mall, whatever. He works in Rockingham Mall. He has his booth. And when I seen him there, I was like, I got to get this guy on my podcast because this is just different. I'm from Lawrence. Well, I'm from Somerville, but I live in Lawrence. Basically from Lawrence. Like, nobody in my city, personally, that I've seen is doing something to that extent. That looks pretty professional, if you ask me. I mean, you guys can leave your opinion in the comments down below. But that's a dope sneaker. I'm not gonna lie to you. I ain't even gonna hold you, bro. That's a dope sneaker. So when I seen you, I was like, yo, I gotta get you on the podcast, just in general.
Thank you, bro. And I really appreciate you reaching out. And I also appreciate the hustle. I'll tell you, he's just like me. He told me, he's like, yo, as soon as I hit you, he's like, I'm looking for you to actually follow through. I don't want anybody who's just gonna tell me to do one thing and they slack. I'll tell you, bro, being out in LA, you think a lot of people hustle out there, and don't get me wrong, there's definitely people out there who hustle, but I was actually surprised, bro. I kind of feel like out here we be going a little bit harder and following through with a lot of different jobs, bro. The number of people that flaked is crazy.
It blows my brains.
It really is, man.
People don't want it, like, they want the recognition, but they don't want to work, bro.
They don't want the work.
Not to bash on the city. I love Lawrence, bro, but there's a lot of people that lurk, but they don't want to work. Lurk, but they don't want to work. That's a new slogan.
New catchphrase.
Lurk, but they don't want to work. But to be honest, bro, I'm all about hustle, bro. I'm always trying to put people on. That's the goal of the podcast, is to bring out people, to give people a platform that haven't been heard, basically. Absolutely. And I know, like, you obviously you're in the mall, you're doing your thing, you got your booth, but I know you haven't hit Lawrence, in my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong.
No, I could agree with that.
Because, bro, Lawrence it's a small city, but it's also a big city in terms of social media. Like, the girls are popping in Lawrence, bro. Like, if you go on Twitter, bro, they say the Twitter girls are the most popping girls in the world, or the New England, or whatever they say.
This is facts.
Hey, man, I don't know. I have no opinion on that, but that's what they say, basically. So when I seen you, I was like, bro, I gotta get this guy on the podcast, basically. But a lot of people want to lurk, but they don't want to work.
Hey man, I'm glad to be here, bro. But we working. Don't get confused. We working.
So, I mean, so you went from so you're an artist in terms of music and a designer, which is also artist.
Yes, sir.
Who was your biggest influence? Like when you sit down at night, when you lay down at night, who do you like think about when you're doing your art? Like, this person is the engine, is the drive, is the person that drives me to keep going and to strive to be better than who I am today.
Basquiat. That was the first person that really did it for me. And I'll tell you this, like, once again, 10 years of not drawing, and even when I was a kid, I didn't really research into different artists or what have you, as far as like people who had already made it. I just wasn't at that level. I wasn't thinking like
you weren't at that level mentally, basically.
Exactly. And so when I got into art, I definitely wanted to kind of find like, hey, what are some pieces that I can start looking into, start kind of influencing myself in different types of abstract art, acrylic painting, different mediums and things like that. And one of the top artists that have ever existed was Basquiat, was, Da Vinci, all these different artists like that. And so I kid you not, man, it was kind of interesting how it all came about. One of my homies, actually, you might know him. His name is Samo Harvey. Harvey and Coot. He does a lot of music in Lawrence in this area. If you don't, it's all good, but that's my man Samo.
But
he was a big fan of Basquiat, and he put me onto him. And so once I started to kind of research a little bit more about Basquiat and his work, I was just very inspired with his designs, the abstract, the colors, his way of life, and I felt in a lot of ways I can kind of relate.
Okay.
And so I started watching more documentaries, researching, and I'm somebody who's very autodidactic. And if y'all don't know what that means, it just basically means that you like to research your own information and kind of put it into practice.
Bro, I'm deaf. I'm deaf autodidactic. You feel me?
Like I'll go online, I'll read books if I have to, whatever it is. I'm not saying I'm the smartest person in the world, but that's how I like to get my information.
Exactly. Yep.
And so fast forward, basically my boy put me onto him. I got really inspired, and I was like, all right, cool. So who's some other people that I can start kind of researching? And I forget how I came about it, but I was on YouTube one day, and I had seen a documentary with Bill Gates, and he was kind of going through like his whole legacy, if you would. And one thing that he said that he swears that every business person should look into or read into is a book called Leonardo's Notebooks. And
Leonardo's Notebooks.
Yes, and I kid you.
You guys gotta write that down, bro.
I learned so much in this one book. I kid you not, especially if you're an artist, specifically an artist, a painter, sketcher, drawer, whatever it is, art-wise, highly recommend that book. And so, fast forward, I jump into this book, and I'm learning different things. As simple as just carrying a sketchbook around with you, just to capture different moments of life, to capture lighting, capture shadows, being able to kind of gauge measurements mentally, and kind of using different objects to be able to place those together. There was just so many different theories that he would apply to his paintings, and also kind of living through a lifestyle that's definitely more judgment free, and a place where he would be willing to experiment in just about anything.
Okay.
And so I try to take what I felt was relevant to me and where I wanted to go
and apply it.
I
hear that 100%.
Tying it back to LA, once I figured out that fashion was the move, I was like, all right, cool. So I have the idea as far as the concept. I have the idea as far as the shoes, and knowing that actually works. And then from there, it was just a matter of like, do I actually want to do this? And so at that point, before I actually got a chance to finalize that decision, my brother and I were going through some changes in our life, and we actually had to move back to New Hampshire. And part of that reason was for my brother had a baby, and I love that daughter. I love his daughter. Her name's Layla.
Shout him out.
Shout out Layla. Shout out Tone Knight.
Tone Knight. Shout out Tone Knight. I don't know you, but shout out.
That's the fam. That's the fam. You already know. But yeah, we were going through some hard living adjustments, and at the same time, we were just having going through a midlife crisis. We'll just call it that.
I hear that.
With everything that was going on, and so we had to make moves quickly. And so we decided to come back here, regroup with the fam, and kind of see where we wanted to go. At this time, I had left Apple. My brother was also unemployed, and we were just like, all right, cool. We're gonna start from ground zero and build back up. And so at that time, I was like, all right, let's try this shoe thing. Tried it. Failed.
So you wait. So you talked. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So you talked to your brother about trying the shoe thing, or you just
My brother, his main objectives was one, take care of the fam.
For sure.
Two, secure a job. So my brother's not as savvy when it comes to like art and design.
Copy.
When it comes to music, he's a genius. So we kind of use those two strengths hand in hand. And so at the moment, that wasn't his mission. And so I basically took on the whole shoe thing and the art and design, even till now, like doing artwork covers and track list covers and things like that. My brother would throw an input, so like I'll give credit where credit's due.
Of course.
For the most part, I like to kind of mastermind how the look and the aesthetic of everything looks for our brand, for Knights, but also for Drip by Draco. So when I had decided to try and take the leap of faith, I'll keep it a buck with you. I was half-assed with it. This is, what is it? I got back from LA 2018. So 2018, I got back. I was like, I'm going to try it. But I wasn't committed with staying on top of it all the time, especially with going through a serious fight of wanting to do music. I kid you not, finding that balance between wanting to do one thing that you truly love and another thing that you just found that's brand new that you also love, it was extremely tough, and it was also very taxing. So
I feel that, bro.
I just did a lot of stalling, a lot of like questioning myself, second guessing myself, and I couldn't pull the trigger on actually doing the full thing. So what did I do? I got a job.
Okay.
And so I went back to Apple. I was doing the whole Apple thing, and fast forward, I get to a point where I was like, I want to try and do the shoes. I was starting to get sales for my shoes. I had probably about 8 clients, and
this was in all right. So let's slow down. All right, so it was in 2018, and you were where exactly?
I was in New Hampshire, Manchester.
You were in Manchester, New Hampshire, but in what location?
I was at my house.
So you were at your house. You were promoting it where?
Literally from my house.
Literally. So you were taking. So how were you promoting it? You were taking a picture of the sneaker.
Yeah. So I basically, like, let's say the shoes right after the Spider-Man shoes, I did a pair. It was I think it was Rick and Morty. And I did that for a friend's birthday. I basically would start the shoe, create the concept like on my iPad, send it out to the client, make sure that they're happy with it.
Okay.
And then once I got the shoe, then I would actually start by taping the shoe, painting it, and then what I do to break down my process is I'll just take pictures as I go, prep, and then after prep I'll go into, all right, this is progress shot, and the progress shot will be like, maybe I'll have a little an outline of a character on the shoe, and then maybe a little paint on there.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of break down my process by like literally just baby steps all the way into the final product.
Copy.
And so I would put that onto Instagram, put that on Facebook, try to hit as many platforms as possible. But for the most part, I was mainly targeting Instagram just because I know
your platform is bigger on
Instagram.
Instagram.
My platform is bigger. I know what people are looking for. I know the age group that I was targeting. So it just was starting to all kind of like
come together, basically. Yeah. Okay.
And so that's how I started to kind of build that, my first swing in terms of Drip by Draco becoming what it is now. But it was not something sustainable at that time. So I found a job. As time passed, I came across an opportunity at the mall. The mall at Rockingham Park in Salem, New Hampshire.
Shout out Rockingham.
You dig? And so I met with this person. We basically had a quick meeting, kind of talking about the business, what the plan looked like, what the shoes looked like.
Just the whole outline in general.
Exactly, just to see if it was something that was feasible.
Exactly.
Once we worked out numbers and we worked out an agreement, I basically just sealed the deal on it, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna do this. But one thing about jumping into the business like that is that, granted, you need to give as much time as possible to the business, and in order for it to be successful,
you have to put in the legwork to get legwork, like you're standing. You have to put in the legwork to legit, because
absolutely,
he has a booth. You have a booth, correct?
I do.
Basically like a booth in the mall. So like he's basically one of the people guys that, like, if you're passing by the mall, say you go to Foot Locker and you want to go to Kids Foot Locker, shout out Foot Locker. You go to Kids Foot Locker, he's one of the guys that will be in the middle with his own little section,
you got it.
Drip by Draco section. He's promoting it literally on feet. Yeah. So if your product doesn't catch his attention, if his product doesn't catch your attention, he's gonna walk up to you and make it catch your attention. He's gonna talk you into doing something you probably didn't want to do, but when you look at it, you're like, damn, I really fuck with that shit.
Got it. And honestly, like, when doing it, I think it was probably the first month or so, it was a lot of that, but there was also a lot of failures. And I'll keep it completely thorough with y'all. there was no sales my first month of being open, and so
Bro,
that gave me a major scare because I'm like, yo, damn, I just committed.
But that lit a fire up your ass though.
Exactly, and so like I'm back going a little bit harder. I'm trying to get a little bit more faster turnarounds, all that stuff. And so and kind of like learning the swing of the business, bro. I kid you not, there was 1 week, bro, that I was on fire. 8 days in a row, bro. I closed sales.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah, bro.
Amazing.
On the last day, on the 8th day, bro, I came up almost a G. And so like when I had seen that, bro, I say that specifically because that was motivation, bro.
Not to brag. He ain't trying to brag.
That was a lot of motivation, and it really allowed me to see the potential. Like, yo, this is real. Exactly. I can live off this, and this is something that can actually be sustainable. And not to mention, not just that, when I see the look on customers' faces, and even if you're not a customer yet, just the amount of engagement, the amount of excitement behind seeing something that you've never seen. And if you have seen it, being able to see it right in front of you, that's an entirely different story. Out here in New England, we don't have outlets that are like LA or like New York. It's very recluse. It's a lot more sticks, like people say. And so finding things like this in an area like this is very rare. Very, very, very rare. So I've been trying to capitalize on that. Now, as I was going through signing the lease, I did initially, I think it was a 3 or 4 month lease agreement to start. And like I said, first month, no sales. Second month, it started to hit, and then I didn't expect it to hit the way it did. And so when I was moving forward, I was like, all right, I need to put more time at the kiosk. Weekends, I need to be there, but the weekends I'm at Apple. And so I made a very tough decision. Do I quit my job? Do I keep the job? How do I balance it? Because at Apple, they were asking me to be there for Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and that was my prime time to make money. I honestly pulled the trigger and just I literally walked out.
So you walked out of Apple?
Yeah.
Wait, so you were working in Apple in Manchester?
Yeah. No, not in Manchester. So I worked in 2 different sides of Apple. I've done retail and I've also done corporate.
Okay.
My first 4 years, I think it was all retail, and my last year was in corporate. The difference being is that retail, I was literally at an Apple retail store. I worked at Salem before I transferred to LA, but I worked at those 2 stores. When I went into corporate, I was working in Concord, and I had basically like my own shop inside of a Best Buy.
Okay.
So I was up there.
Okay.
I was doing my thing up there. It gets deep. I won't get too into it, but vibes were just off for me. And then also, I just kept hearing, hey, you're not going your 100% here, you're not going your 100% there.
They told you that. Who told you that? Who told you that?
I got to give more context. So,
like, you got to give us the story, man. We're trying to listen.
So, I'm basically, I'll tell you right now, when it comes to working at Apple, bro, I honestly was a beast, bro. And I don't know if it was just second nature or what it was, but I just get it. I got it. And I was very passionate about moving up. And so that's what it was.
Moving up in Apple or moving up
in Apple. And once again, this is before music. This is, it's same time as music, but this is before art. And honestly, when I came into the company, my goal was to go like corporate, like go way up the ranks and like be with Apple for the long run. Like that was my backup plan. And so if music didn't work, but
see,
I was never giving up on music.
Here's what me and my guy talk about all the time. So like, well, here's what I tell the people all the time. You shouldn't have a backup plan, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Because if you have a backup plan, it gives you leeway and it gives you like a comfortability thing. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's like you're going to go hard, don't get me wrong, but in the back of your mind, you're always going to say, but just in case. You feel me? Absolutely. So it's like for me, like when I do things, the way I like to do it personally, it's like all or nothing. And like it's going to be all and it's going to work because I'm putting in everything into it. And to be honest, bro, when you put your everything into something, it's impossible for it to like fail, in my personal opinion. Because, like, how are you going to go hard, put in that time, the effort? It'll take a while, but at the end of the day, you're going to get, if you're actually passionate about it, if you're not just doing it for the money.
You'll see the return, exactly. Definitely make sure the passion is there, and then the money's just a bonus, you know? And honestly, you said it honestly spot on, and that's kind of that conversation that I had with my boss when we were talking about going 100. I was going hard at Apple, but it was more like 80%. I was getting results, not the results that I really wanted to get, and the ones that I maybe could got it. But I was just in a tough mind space where it's like, yo, I want to do music. And then I'm also getting hit up probably like once a month at this time for like, yo, orders for shoes. And I was like, yo, if I don't go all in on this, I don't know what it could be. And so fast forward,
basically
bro,
had no choice.
I had no choice. I went all in. I quit my job, bro. And that first day that I went out to the mall, bro, it was a Saturday. I remember, bro. Literally closed the sale. I made more money there that first day than
you did in a whole week.
Well, not in the whole week. Not that day.
In the whole day.
In the whole day.
In the whole day.
Okay. Apple. So like it was, bro. It was rewarding, man, and I was really psyched. I was very happy about it. And then looking back on this journey, bro, if I could have did that like way back, bro, I definitely would have went.
You would have been way ahead.
But I know at the same time I shouldn't think like that. So I'm trying to take everything baby steps, trying to take it very slow.
Take it how it comes, basically.
Exactly, and enjoy the process and try to be the best that I can be now.
Of course, that's the goal.
I'll tell you right now, bro, to keep it a buck with you, when it comes down to music, bro, I feel like my brother and I have put in our 10,000 hours. I really feel like we have.
Oh, that's dope.
When it comes to art, I'm not even close. And so, I literally mean that. I might have worked when I was a kid, but I've had a 10-year gap of not practicing.
Exactly.
Literally. And so, and not even having like a desire, not even having a drive to doodle, not even really doing anything like that. If anything, artwork covers and like track lists, like I was mentioning, but I can't really say that that's what I'm doing now. It's a lot different aspect of art.
So you read the book. Mm-hmm. You read the book with the 10,000 hour rule.
I did not.
You did it. You just heard about it.
It was a quote. And
oh,
so,
that's actually in a book.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually in a book. Yeah,
and it's like.
So Malcolm Gladwell, he wrote a book. What's the name? The name's not coming to me right now, but I'll come up with a name. But so basically the 10,000 hour rule that Malcolm Gladwell talked about is basically he believes that anybody who puts 10,000 hours in basically anything can become an expert or / a professional in whatever it is. For example, if you're a basketball player, it does not mean you're going to be a professional basketball player. But if you put 10,000 hours into shooting a basketball, say it's 3-pointers, or say it's a mid-range shot, or say it's a layup, if you put 10,000 hours into doing any of those 3 things, you can become a professional / an expert on that specific thing. That doesn't mean you're going to go to the league. So do not watch this podcast and say, I'm going to the NBA. You're like, a lot of people are going to take this like, oh, wow, I'm going to go put in my 10,000 hours. No.
Do not take it too literal, but you can get there.
You can get there, and it depends on your physique, your body, your height, and just your work ethic in general.
And honestly, bro, another thing I'll add on to that is mind state. And this is something I think we all go through, but personally for me, trying to stay focused, but at the same time fighting that other side of me that's like, oh, no, you can't do that.
Exactly.
You can't do that. I can't, bro.
It's the demons, bro. It's the devil.
Bro, I'll tell you, low key, bro. It's funny because I'll be in the mall, bro. You've seen me. I'll be in the mall, bro, and I'll be painting a shoe, bro. And the number of people that walk past me and they're telling me, "Oh, bro, you got steady hands."
Steady,
it's funny,
bro.
Because for me, bro, I low key, I'm looking at my hands and I can see my hands like shaking. And it's the whole reason why it's shaking is because before I ever do a shoe, bro, there's always a part of me that doubts that I can even do the shoe before I do it. Literally. Every single time, bro. I can't. Before I made this shoe right here, bro, I was looking at that bull like, I don't know if I can pull it off.
Interesting.
You tell me. I kid you not.
That just goes to show that humans are our own biggest critics, bro. Like, look how steady, look how intricate, look how dope that sneaker is, and before he even did it, he doubted himself, and he still pulled it off. It's amazing.
I can't even tell you, and honestly, even like when it comes down to like the deconstruction part, because the art is one side, but when it comes to actually splitting up the seams and taking off the checks and kind of like stitching all this back together, like that's a whole nother art form in itself.
I believe it.
And so I didn't even think I could do that, bro. I didn't think that when I took this apart, I could actually make it look like a manufactured shoe. And so this particular shoe, like I'll probably be doing this particular shoe for the rest of my life. Shout out Off-White, shout out Virgil, because this shoe was very inspirational for me. And to the fashion game, to the shoe game, sneaker game, art game, what I've been able to do with that idea and kind of like put my own spin to it and put my own flavor on it. Yo, I have so much fun with this shoe in particular. This shoe by far is my most fun shoe to work on.
The craziest thing, bro, to be honest, when I show people your page, because I'm the type of person, bro, like when I like, for example, like when I mess with someone, like I genuinely like fuck with what they do. I generally fuck with them as a person. Yeah. I like to promote them. And in a sense, like not as like, oh, like I'm sucking them. Like that's how like a lot of people think, oh, you're probably sucking this person. No, like I like for example, like if I talk about, oh, the designer from Rockingham, I'll go to your page. I'm like, yo, give him a follow, peep, and I'll go to craziest thing that you brought those sneakers. I'll go to that specific picture. I'll be like, bro, and that picture will always get them so like, oh, I'm gonna follow this kid. Right? But I'll go, I'll go, and I'll show them that sneaker on the Instagram, and then. Boom, they'll be like, yo, that shit is crazy. Da, da, da.
For me, it's one or two. It's either that one or the Celtics. I got to show that.
The Celtics joint is fire.
It's either the Celtics or, honestly, bro, my new favorite, bro. So, in terms of process creating the shoe, my most fun shoe, definitely this shoe. But in terms of, like, my best work, I think it's going to be these shoes that take the win. Hold up. So, to his point, every time I show people these shoes, they're sold. These are the ones. And so this is actually I have a newer one now, but this is actually my best deconstruction. Even better than these ones in terms of build for the shoe. The process that I took to be able to establish these shoes and create them to be more sturdy, to be a little bit more flexible. I went a lot further in terms of the construction, to masking out leather, stitching them together, getting them a little bit thicker to meet a higher standard at a manufacturer level. And so once again, I started working with like a cobbler that's right by my house back in Manchester. And he's been putting me on with how to use like a post-arm sewing machine and kind of get in there and add like little details. I don't know if y'all can see this on the camera, but like there's like little like green details that I have with the stitch in there along the sides there. And then I also put it right along the top flaps right there. And so like just kind of getting in there and kind of experimenting with different ways to use the stitching and sewing machine and getting in there, adding more accents just to kind of separate the look of the shoe, make it more unique.
Oh, my fault. I like don't mean to cut you off, just go right back to it, but you said a cobbler?
Yes.
So what's a cobbler exactly? Because I've never heard. I before I forgot the question, I need to ask it, and then you can just go back to what you were saying.
So a cobbler is someone who repairs and or sometimes makes shoes. There's like also master cobblers like that have been doing it basically, the whole 9 yards. And so there's one right by my house, and so I had noted. It's actually funny because I hit up somebody who does a lot of like professional styling out in LA and design work. I had met her out there, and I was asking her, hey, like if I were to do something blah 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 as far as like working with like leathers and I wanted to piece it to the shoe, like how would I do that? And she's like, you need to talk to a cobbler. And so I was like, oh, what's a cobbler? I looked it up, bro. I kid you not. I type in cobbler shops near me on Google, bro. There's 1.3 miles from my house, bro.
And 1.3 miles,
like 0.3, 0.5. Like I could walk there. I literally would walk there, bro. It'd take me 5 minutes to get there. Driving wise, like a minute, 2 minutes.
Oh wow!
So it's mad close. And so just the fact that as I'm on this journey for doing shoes, it just so happens that
somebody was right next to
that journey is right there, bro. That changed the game, man. And so this person literally, bro, like I remember like when I went to go bring him one of my first pairs of shoes to get done by him, he literally did it for free, bro. We had such a solid, genuine relationship from the start. Whenever I walk in there, bro, it's all love.
And you guys haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below. Leave a comment on what you think on the interview. And this is the question that we've all been waiting for. Can I get a drum roll, please? All right, bro. I heard, he heard, cameraman. You heard, you know.
Her what?
We all know. Well, her what?